Clint Eastwood is one of the most legendary figures in Hollywood history, a man whose name is synonymous with cool confidence, quiet authority, and unparalleled efficiency on set. With his signature squint and low, cutting voice, Eastwood has captivated audiences for over 6 decades, turning simple lines like, "Go ahead, make my day," into phrases that are instantly recognizable around the world. But while his on-screen persona often gives the impression of a man who is untouchable, calm, and unflappable, the reality behind the camera reveals a different side. A side that is highly disciplined, deeply private, and intensely intolerant of inefficiency. Eastwood has earned a reputation for running sets like clockwork, demanding that every actor, crew member, and assistant approach each scene with preparation, focus, and seriousness. His philosophy is simple but uncompromising. Show up prepared, act truthfully, trust the first take, and respect the work of everyone involved. If an actor disrupts this system, breaks focus, or wastes time, Eastwood does not respond with anger or drama, but he does take action in a way that is both quiet and permanent. According to insiders, he maintains a secret blacklist of actors who, for one reason or another, failed to meet his standards, creating tension or inefficiency on set. This is not a public list, nor is it something Eastwood advertises, but the stories from former crew, co-stars, and assistants suggest that this blacklist is real, and that being on it can mean you will never work with him again. The reasons actors have found themselves on Eastwood's list are often connected not just to skill or talent, but to professionalism, attitude, and the ability to respect the pace and demands of his sets. Clint Eastwood's filmmaking style is defined by minimal takes, quiet direction, and a focus on authenticity. Unlike many directors who might indulge in repeated takes, improvisation, or indulgent on-set discussions, Eastwood expects that every actor can deliver their performance accurately and efficiently on the first attempt. When an actor arrives late, forgets lines, questions the script mid-scene, or allows personal issues to interfere with the work, it creates frustration that Eastwood does not tolerate. In his world, the first take is sacred, preparation is essential, and respect for the work is non-negotiable. One longtime assistant director shared, "If you break his rules, he just never calls you again." This simple statement reveals the quiet but absolute authority Eastwood wields. Unlike directors who might yell, argue, or negotiate with difficult actors, Eastwood handles problems with a cold, methodical approach. He does not make scenes harder for actors by berating them. Instead, he silently observes, makes his decision, and moves on, often ensuring that the problematic actor will not appear in any of his future projects. Perhaps the first and most infamous name on this list is Jean Seberg, the actress who co-starred with Eastwood in the 1969 musical Paint Your Wagon. While Seberg was celebrated for her work in Jean-Luc Godard's Breathless, her experience with Eastwood would leave a permanent mark on both her career and his memory. Paint Your Wagon was already a challenging project for Eastwood. The musical required him to sing on camera, a task that was far outside his comfort zone as a director and actor. The production demanded discipline, coordination, and efficiency, yet Seberg's struggles with punctuality, engagement, and choreography created delays and tension on set. According to multiple sources, she would arrive late, appear distracted during rehearsals, and struggle to execute even basic blocking and choreography. For Eastwood, whose entire approach to filmmaking is grounded in preparation and rhythm, Seberg's unpredictability was maddening. A choreographer from the film recalled that Clint approached the musical sequences with the same methodical focus he applied to every other project. But Jean Seabird seemed somewhere else entirely, often caught up in personal issues inside her trailer rather than participating fully in the work. The tension escalated during romantic scenes, where emotional instability and interruptions turned simple sequences into multi-take nightmares. Worse, Seberg occasionally stopped mid-scene to question the script, suggesting alternative directions for her character. Eastwood firmly believed that the script was not to be reinvented on the spot, and he had zero patience for actors who challenged this principle. After repeated interruptions, he reportedly walked off set, returning 10 minutes later with a quiet, clipped instruction: "Let's just get this done." Even more problematic was what occurred after production wrapped. When Paint Your Wagon underperformed at the box office, Seberg gave interviews implying that Eastwood's acting and limited musical range contributed to the film's failure. For the intensely private Eastwood, public criticism of this nature was unacceptable. Friends and insiders have said he would immediately shut down any discussion about Seberg or the film, reflecting his long memory and strict code. According to a longtime friend, he summarized his feelings in a single sentence: "Some people aren't built for this work. It's not their fault, but it's not something I need to deal with twice." This statement, both calm and firm, encapsulates Eastwood's approach to blacklisting. It is not personal vengeance, but a matter of professional boundaries, efficiency, and respect for the craft. The next actor to find himself on Eastwood's blacklist may surprise some fans. Richard Burton, a Shakespearean legend who co-starred with Eastwood in the 1968 World War II action film Where Eagles Dare. On screen, the film was a commercial hit and has become a timeless classic. But behind the camera, Eastwood's experience was far less smooth. Burton at the time was in the midst of his turbulent marriage to Elizabeth Taylor, and the personal drama spilled onto the set. Multiple crew members reported that Burton frequently arrived late, appeared hungover, and occasionally performed while still under the influence from the night before. Meanwhile, Eastwood would arrive at sunrise, fully prepared, having memorized lines and ready to film efficiently. The difference in preparation, attitude, and professionalism created a stark contrast that tested Eastwood's patience. According to a camera operator, you could see Clint's patience evaporating. He didn't yell, he just watched. Eastwood's approach was not to publicly shame or confront, but to internalize his judgment and make a decision that would affect future collaborations. In Burton's case, the combination of tardiness, lack of focus, and dismissive attitude toward the production made a lasting impression. Eastwood valued discipline above all else, and he perceived Burton's behavior as a disrespectful disregard for the craft of filmmaking. Burton's occasional mocking of the production as a mere paycheck only deepened Eastwood's resolve. In later years, when asked about Burton, Eastwood offered only 3 words: "Talented guy, wasted talent." Those words, though brief, communicated everything. Burton had skill, but his approach to work was fundamentally incompatible with Eastwood's philosophy. The third actor on Eastwood's blacklist, Tommy Lee Jones, presents a different but equally instructive case. Jones and Eastwood co-starred in the 1993 thriller In the Line of Fire, a film that was both critically acclaimed and commercially successful. On paper, the partnership seemed ideal. 2 disciplined, intense actors who shared a minimalist, no-nonsense approach. Yet their similarities created conflict rather than harmony. According to multiple insiders, Eastwood perceived that Jones sometimes tried to dominate scenes, pulling focus away from other actors and disrupting the balance that Eastwood valued so highly on set. Eastwood's philosophy emphasizes collaboration, respect, and listening to scene partners, and any attempt to override these principles is unacceptable. The tension between two strong, uncompromising personalities meant that despite the film's success, Eastwood reportedly never wanted to collaborate with Jones again. It was not about talent, charisma, or ability. It was about rhythm, respect, and the smooth execution of a shared vision. Eastwood believes that great acting is rooted in listening and reacting naturally, not in asserting dominance over a scene or imposing personal interpretation that conflicts with the director's plan. This is a recurring theme in Eastwood's blacklist. Professional incompatibility, no matter how talented the actor, can be enough to end future collaborations. Beyond the actors themselves, these stories highlight Eastwood's unique approach to filmmaking. He rarely raises his voice, does not create drama on set, and relies on quiet observation and judgment. This approach not only preserves his authority, but ensures that productions proceed with maximum efficiency. Actors who cannot adapt to this environment, no matter their past success or reputation, quickly earn a place on his personal list. The common thread in each case is not a lack of skill, but a lack of alignment with Eastwood's expectations, whether in punctuality, preparation, attitude, or respect for the craft. It is this unwavering insistence on discipline and efficiency that has allowed Eastwood to sustain a career spanning more than 6 decades, producing iconic films that remain cultural landmarks. While some may view his blacklist as harsh, for Eastwood, it is a practical, almost businesslike approach to ensuring his sets function smoothly and effectively. Clint Eastwood's blacklist is not simply a list of grudges. It is a reflection of his core philosophy as a filmmaker and a professional. His entire career has been built on discipline, respect, and the pursuit of excellence. For Eastwood, efficiency is not optional. It is the law of the set. He has never tolerated unnecessary takes, interruptions, or ego-driven behavior that undermines collaboration. To work with him is to commit fully to preparation, focus, and an understanding of the flow of a scene. Jean Seberg, Richard Burton, and Tommy Lee Jones serve as examples of actors who, despite their talent, failed to meet these standards in different ways. Seberg struggled with focus and engagement, Burton with preparation and professionalism, and Jones with collaborative balance and deference to the rhythm of the scene. In each case, Eastwood's decision to cease future collaboration was not personal, but rooted in his unshakable principles. Beyond the practical implications, the blacklist also provides insight into the man behind the icon. Eastwood is often perceived as stoic, calm, and untouchable. Yet these stories reveal that he has a strong moral compass when it comes to work ethic and respect for the craft. He does not need to assert power through shouting or theatrics. His authority is quiet, deliberate, and absolute. In a world where celebrity and ego often overshadow discipline and preparation, Eastwood's approach stands out as both rare and instructive. His films succeed not only because of his talent as an actor and director, but because he surrounds himself with people who share his commitment to excellence, and removes those who do not. This philosophy has produced some of the most iconic films in Hollywood history, from Dirty Harry to $1 Million Baby, from Unforgiven to American Sniper. Each production reflects Eastwood's values: minimal takes, natural performances, and a respect for the collaborative nature of filmmaking. The blacklist is therefore not an act of malice, but an extension of these values, a filter ensuring that only those who are fully aligned with his working style are brought into his projects. For viewers, These stories offer a rare glimpse into Eastwood's professional world, revealing how one of cinema's greatest directors maintains quality, control, and efficiency across decades of filmmaking. Actors who have been blacklisted may have talent, charm, and experience, but if they disrupt the flow, waste time, or fail to respect the craft, they will not appear in Eastwood's future projects. This is the legacy of a man whose first take is sacred, whose quiet authority commands respect, and whose standards for professionalism remain unmatched. In the end, Clint Eastwood's blacklist is more than a list of grudges. It is a testament to a career built on discipline, integrity, and the unwavering pursuit of excellence, a philosophy that continues to define Hollywood filmmaking today. Understanding this side of Eastwood transforms how we view not only his films, but also the choices, collaborations, and stories behind the scenes that have shaped his legendary career. To cross Clint Eastwood is to risk more than just a difficult scene. It is to risk exclusion from the carefully curated, disciplined world he has built. A world where efficiency, respect, and dedication are not negotiable, but essential to success. Clint Eastwood is one of the most legendary filmmakers and actors in Hollywood history. Known for his cool, stoic presence on screen and his efficient, instinct-driven approach behind the camera, Eastwood has created some of the most iconic movies of the last half-century. Yet behind his calm exterior and professional demeanor lies a side of him that few outsiders have ever seen. Over the years, Eastwood has quietly compiled a list of actors he found difficult to work with. Actors who, despite their talent, clashed with his particular way of making movies. One of the most notable names on this list is Tommy Lee Jones, a man whose intensity and strong presence sometimes put him at odds with Eastwood's minimalist style. On set, Jones would often stay fully in character even when a scene had ended, carrying his character's aggressive energy into breaks, something Eastwood, who draws a firm line between acting and reality, found frustrating. Crew members have recounted moments when Jones's character would yell or glare at Eastwood's on-screen counterpart, or even his assistants, long after the camera stopped rolling. One sound technician recalled a particularly tense scene where Jones's character berated Clint's Secret Service agent. Even after the director called cut, Jones kept glaring at Eastwood, fully in character. Eastwood, instead of responding with anger or confrontation, quietly stared for a moment and walked away, muttering to his assistant, "Life's too short for that bullshit." This quiet, almost passive reaction shows how Eastwood handled conflict. He never let it boil over publicly, but privately he made firm decisions about who he would or wouldn't work with again. The tension between Eastwood and Jones didn't end there. Another key moment came during a scene where both actors had completely different interpretations of how it should play out. Eastwood, following his philosophy that the first take is usually the best, deferred to the director and captured what he believed was the truth of the moment. Jones, however, kept pushing for multiple takes, wanting the scene to play exactly as he imagined. This direct conflict clashed with Eastwood's approach and left a lasting impression. After filming ended, Eastwood had multiple chances